Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. So today we're going to be doing the March general predictions video. I will also be doing a separate March love predictions video like I do with each month. And today I felt really drawn to pick two cards for each pile, which I don't think I've ever done before, but that's why we've got two cards on each pile. I'm sorry if that's confusing. I tried putting them more like this, but then it just looked like a mess down here, so I thought we should let them both be visible in case one in particular from each pile was maybe catching your eye. So I don't know why I was guided to choose more than one card for each pile today, but I'm sure it'll be relevant in the reading. As I said, it's the March general prediction, so we won't be focusing on any particular area of your life or have a particular question in mind. We will just be seeing what is coming up for you in March, what you can expect, or what the general energies are for you in the month of March. So with that being said, we'll take a look at the piles more closely in just a moment, but I want to say a big thank you as always to all of my lovely subscribers and to all of my lovely patrons as well, including Alexandra, Kelly, Joan, Nicole, Mia and Cara. Thank you so much to each of you for the kindness and love that you show to the channel. Also, for those of you who are interested in learning about astrology, I will be adding an astrology tier to Patreon soon, so keep checking there or keep checking here for an announcement, because there will soon be a new reward system on Patreon. I am going to, I think for the start of March, change everything up so that the pricing is changed so it reflects more the work that I put into that account, and also offers some new rewards for people as well. So if you're interested in that, I will be offering detailed posts a couple of times a month about astrology for those of you who want to learn or expand on your knowledge of astrology, and also we will be then expanding on those posts by looking more closely at that astrological topic in patrons' birth charts. So if that's something that you're interested in, comment below so that I know, but also do keep checking on Patreon for when that comes in. I think it will be around the start of March that I introduce those changes. So with that being said, let us take a look at the piles more closely. Pile 1, how am I going to do this? We've got the number 38, Goddess Lakshmi and Dendritic Agate, her golden grace. We've also got number 6, Cosmic Womb, the divine feminine. So obviously a very divine feminine energy there. And we've got the Everyday Witch Tarot. So just ask yourself what's coming up for me in March, or what can I expect from the month of March? What energies will be surrounding me in March? However you want to word it. On pile 2, we've got number 14, Angel Lahabiel and Black Tourmaline, Purification. We also have number 23, Fortune's Wheel, Luck and Right Timing. And they are both like a wheel shape. Some of the mandalas in this deck are very different. They're not circular. But we have got the Circle of Life Tarot on pile 2, so there's obviously a sort of wheel or circle theme with that reading. And then over on pile 3, we have number 34, Ascended Master Merlin and Mystic Merlinite, number 63, Winter's Dream, Gestation Period, and the Archangel Power Tarot. What's interesting from this, why am I doing that, card pull is that from each of these cards of the Crystal Mandala Oracle, we've got a different kind of person coming through. So we've got a goddess, an angel, and then an ascended master. Sometimes when I use that deck for pile markers, they all are from the same, or there might be two of one and one of the other, but this time they're all very separate, which I find interesting. So when you're ready, I'll be ready with pile number 1. And I do apologize if at any point during the reading you hear a lot of wind or like rain outside. We had a storm in the UK just yesterday, and the weather is still really terrible here. It's really pouring with rain, and it's really shaking with wind and overcast and just cold and horrible. So I apologize if that is something that comes through in the background of filming today. And yes, I'm now going to get started with pile 1, Goddess Lakshmi, Dendritic Agate, Cosmic Womb, Divine Feminine. Hey there Group 1, welcome to your reading if you chose Goddess Lakshmi and Dendritic Agate, her golden grace. Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine, numbers 38 and 6, and the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is going to be your reading about March. Now, I did say it in the intro, but I'll say it again. If you hear any disturbance from the weather, I do apologize. We had a storm yesterday in the UK, and it is really heavily raining still. It's really windy, and that's also why it's quite dark today. There's nothing I can do to improve that, sadly. So we are going to look at those cards in just a moment, but I want to get your tarot cards out first, group 1, to see what's coming through in March for you. Please do subscribe as well if you haven't already, group 1, so you never miss any videos that I upload. It's a lovely way to help out my channel as well. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Pentacles as your first card there. We've also got the Eight of Pentacles. Interesting how we got 7 and then 8, like it sort of increased naturally. And then the King of Wands. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius showing up here. So definitely see March as a time where you are putting in a lot of effort. There's a sense of work and focus and discipline coming through from these cards, but also a sense of waiting, which is interesting because you got this message, the Cosmic Womb. And I found it funny when I was doing the pile markers because group 3's pile marker from this deck was called gestation period. So there's 2 messages there about sort of wombs and growing. So that must be a message for the collective of feeling like you're sort of in this period of development, almost like a caterpillar in a cocoon. And then the King of Wands brings about this sense of flourishing and having this long-term plan. As you can see, he's pointing out something on the map to this cat here. He's sort of explaining his grand plan. So what I see with March is that you really are head down focused on achieving some kind of goal or some kind of plan, and it feels like it's a long-term thing, so it's not something that's going to be wrapped up in March or anything. It might even be a plan for like your brilliant life, your ideal life, and how you're going to achieve that, and you're working towards that gradually in certain steps. But I definitely see you being motivated in March. You have that focus that keeps you on track. Like there's this determination there and this sense of, I just really want to get my head down and get this done. So if I just look at this card's guidebook, because I just want to read you out the introduction to this card. It's a lovely card to receive in any reading. It says, we bring you the empowerment of her golden grace. Divine Mother Lakshmi, who brings blessings of enlightenment and prosperity, beauty and good fortune, smiles upon you now. Open your mind to the reality of divine generosity without limit. Open your heart to feel worthy of her love. When you allow her to grant you bounty, to bless you with her golden grace, she is empowered to shine her divine beauty in the world, to heal, uplift, inspire, and enchant the souls in need. So that's a lovely message, and it fits with your divine feminine message here about being provided for by the divine feminine, in the sense that a mother cares for a baby, a child, or an infant in her womb. There's this sense of being held with both of these cards. And what I actually like about this card when it goes deeper into the guidebook beyond just the introduction, it does mention that at this time Spirit wants to give you good fortune, or it wants to give you love or happiness or blessings, but it can only give you as much as you are open to receive. So if you are experiencing small thoughts about yourself, if you are worried about not being able to bring about this great plan, if you are, scared of change, or just worried about your abilities or your worthiness in general, then you're being advised now, before we get into March, or as we sort of enter the early stages of March, to try and consciously release those fears and worries and try and feel like your heart is opening, like it's expanding or increasing, like the Grinch when his heart grows a few sizes at the end of the book. Try and imagine it growing and having more space to receive. Because the universe, and especially the divine feminine, want to shower you with this love, but they, if your heart's only this big, that's as much as they can give. Whereas if your heart is this big, there's more room to fill. So I hope that makes sense. This is a time of growth for you. We have Twilight Shadow. Interesting message. So for me, that kind of talks about the shadow self, but maybe in quite a gentle way. The twilight is obviously dusk. It's where it's just starting to get dark, so the shadow will not be, you know, extremely visible. It'll be weak now. Unlike at noon, where the shadow is the brightest, at dusk it's kind of at its weakest. So either you've already done a lot of shadow self healing and work and you're not as scared of it anymore, or you've been able to heal a lot of those aspects of yourself, or this is just saying that the shadow is present but doesn't have such a strong hold over you as it might otherwise have. So then we have Life is Better Together. Number 4, seek assistance from your community. Connect with family, friends, or others who will support you. It can be as simple as making a phone call. And then change direction with ease. Number 5. And again, you've got this perfect progression within the same deck of the numbers. You got 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles, and now you've got 4 and 5 within the same deck. This is a time for change, shape-shifting, or your soul's evolution. It is a time to reconsider what you are wanting. You may be in for a surprise. So again, that focus on the sort of long-term goals, the vision, the plans. Like, vision is definitely the key word here. What you're visualizing, what you're hoping for. Being open to change. Allowing yourself to be supported. Allowing yourself to be open to receive. We have Marie Masquerade, number 14, glamour, intrigue, drama. So this could be connecting to the number 4 card, that you might be eschewing relationships because you feel like you can't cope with the expectations or the drama or the energy of it. You would rather just be left to your own devices. You don't want the hassle of dealing with people. But actually that card, I feel, with the 4 card coming up, is kind of saying, actually you can have relationships with people. Maybe sure, there are certain people that you need to try and avoid, or that you need to cut down on your contact with them, but just in general, that doesn't mean that you have to pull away from everyone. There are some people that you can trust and who want to support you. So I'm just looking now in the guidebook for this Twilight Shadow card. It's a new deck and I've never pulled the card before, so I wanted to use my intuition to interpret it first of all. But the message from within the guidebook says, often we concentrate our energies on what we can't have or can't achieve, and this is when our self-esteem begins to deteriorate and issues start to weigh us down. Forget the problem and look at what you're able to do and are capable of. There are times when our problems are only about our inabilities to see the strengths we possess. So that was really connected to what I was saying about opening your heart more and understanding that you are worthy of receiving and allowing yourself to receive in that sense. That's really nice synchronicity. Let's keep going with your cards. Such a curious dream. Number 45, grounding, returning to reality, coming home. So there's that message again about dreams or visions. This is crazy, group 1. And uncertainty, number 39, choose who you will become. Yeah, like I said, it's the big picture. It's not just, I have this one project that I want to achieve or I want to complete in March. It's like, I want my life to be like this, or I want to change my life in these ways, and you know, how do I do that? How do I go about that? Wow. So Inspiration, number 80, inspiration. Versöhnung, number 95, reconciliation. And number 19, Kontrolle, control. So yeah, the inspiration is clear. There's definitely a vision, and I feel like it's not something that comes to you in March. I think it's something that you already are aware of or already working towards and trying to maybe find concrete steps to put into place. But this message of control and reconciliation to me is kind of like trying to reconcile your understanding of what you do have power over and what you can't control. I believe that one of the most powerful things we can do is recognizing what we don't have control over and sort of actively surrendering that, not fighting against the fact that we don't have control, because then it means that we can sort of release that with peace, respond to it better rather than always fighting against it or trying to force it down a particular path. We can see where it's taking us and then adjust our behavior as required. And also it means that we have more energy to then focus in on what we do want to achieve, the things that we can control. So Archangel Gabriel says, law of attraction. Keep your thoughts positive and surround yourself with positive people and situations, and you will attract more positivity into your life. Isn't that just perfect? Like, this really fits with your reading. So the sense of like putting a lot of effort into trying to bring something about, and then we've got the King of Wands, which is about the vision, and obviously the Wands cards are often connected to not just inspiration but also manifestation as well. We've got the messages about the positive people and eschewing the people who aren't positive. We've got the messages about positive thinking, accepting that you are worthy. Crazy, I love this. Then Archangel Michael says, this is your life's purpose. Archangel Michael, you know the details of my divine life purpose, and I ask you to help me be aligned with my goals. Please clearly guide my actions so that I'm taking the best steps to fully manifest my wonderful and meaningful career. I mean, that's just perfect for me. And to me, that card doesn't always talk about career. It could be that you're trying to manifest, like I said earlier, your ideal lifestyle. It could be that you're trying to manifest the optimal outcome to a difficult situation. So take that how it resonates with you, but definitely that message really seemed to fit strongly with the messages you've received already in your reading. Distant thunder, clear the air. So this card comes through when you can sense that something is on the horizon. So you can sense, for example, that you have certain feelings bubbling up that are going to need to be addressed soon. You can sense that you're reaching your limit in some situation. You can sense that there is something coming towards you without having proof that it is actually coming in. This is always when our intuition is kind of telling us something to forewarn us so that we can then make the best choices. And clear the air to me also fits with this message of uncertainty. Like really sitting down and figuring out exactly what it is that you want, what you're trying to manifest or achieve. Because when you have uncertainty, that does really affect any kind of manifestation, but obviously also going for goals in general. If you're not really sure what it is that you want, it can be hard to take the right practical steps towards it. So I think being clear needs to be one of your main focuses. So because you got the Divine Feminine cards, I thought we would get a message from the feminine and a message from the masculine, and then I'll go ahead and do that for every pile, simply because it came out in your reading. So you've got message from the feminine, Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. So Ascended Master Mary Magdalene is kind of coming to you at this time to remind you to be gentle. Be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others. Basically, this card comes out not to sort of give people a free pass to annoy you without consequence or anything like that, and not to give you a free pass to slack off or anything. And I certainly don't see you doing that because we've got the Eight of Pentacles. But it's more like, don't put so much pressure on yourself, or don't be harsh with yourself if you feel like today, actually, I don't think I'm able to do this, or I'm not able to quite meet my targets that I've set for myself today. I need to have a little bit more time for rest, or I need to cut back on today's goals and targets and just give myself some breathing space. Don't be harsh with yourself if that's the case. And if you feel like you're putting the work in, but you're not getting there quickly enough, also don't try and blame yourself for that and berate yourself, because that's not going to get you anywhere, and ultimately it's just going to leave you feeling more unhappy. So Ascended Master Mary Magdalene is really encouraging gentleness and speaking to yourself kindly. And then the message from the masculine is number 49, Uranus, Mutiny. This is a really interesting card, and I don't think I've pulled him yet. This is my homemade inner masculine power oracle, but I'm pretty sure I haven't got that card for anyone so far. So whereas the feminine through Mary Magdalene and also Goddess Lakshmi are saying be gentle, be kind, try and be optimistic as much as you can, Uranus with mutiny is kind of reminding you of the people that don't support you. And so this can be people who seem to be sad about your success. They don't seem to be celebrating with you. With people who seem to be happy when you fail. People who aren't around for you when you need them to be. They're only there in the good or easy times. And also Uranus comes through when we are sort of being thrown out of a situation or usurped in some way. So the story of Uranus is that he was the father of Saturn, or Kronos in the Greek tradition, and he was sort of the, how do we say this in English? It's like Urvater in German, the original father of all of the gods, and he was married to Gaia, the earth. So Uranus was the sky and Gaia was the earth. He's known as Kailas in the Roman pantheon. And so Uranus upset Gaia through his treatment of some of her children, and so she urged on Kronos / Saturn to kind of overthrow Uranus. So Uranus was castrated by Saturn, and then Saturn in turn was overthrown by his own son Zeus or Jupiter. So there was kind of a cycle of sons overthrowing their father, and sort of men not knowing when to step down from the position or post. So when I get this card, it is always saying that your power in this situation lies in kind of knowing where you're not wanted, or knowing when you need to step back from something. So for example, this could come through where you are really trying to be a part of someone's friendship group, or you're really trying to get along well with family members, but those people just aren't giving you any respect back. You might be the person who's always pushing for meetups, so you might be the person who is always making compromises in relationships, whereas the others just aren't. And this could be in a group setting or in a one-to-one situation. And so it's kind of saying at that point, know when to step back, know when those people aren't respecting your presence there, and where you would be sort of better off putting your energy elsewhere. In situations, it can be that you've sunk a lot of time and energy into something and you feel like you need to hold on to it, the sunken cost fallacy, until it gives you the outcome that you want. But it's saying, actually, if that's draining you and you feel tired or disrespected or drained from that, then it's best to focus your attention elsewhere. That doesn't mean that you can't return to that situation later on, but it means that right now your energy is better placed somewhere else. Or you could get more benefit from focusing on something different. So Uranus always comes through as a kind of an urge to move on, an urge to seek out something better for ourselves. And it's always telling you that that thing does exist. It's not saying, go out and make a new life for yourself. It's saying there is something around you that you can focus on, or that is going to give you more respect or more benefit than you're currently receiving. So there's a nice, interesting balance there between the feminine, who's saying, don't hold resentment, don't attack these people, sort of let them go with love, or let this situation go on the back burner for now with love. But focus that attention elsewhere. Uranus is also in astrology all about the collective. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius and sort of focuses on what we can do to improve the situation for all involved, or what we can do to bring about progress or a greater outcome for everyone involved. So it's sort of subjugating the ego, as Uranus was forced to do. So really, really interesting messages in your reading so far. We've then got Хорошего плавания, which kind of means like have a good swim. And we've got this whale sort of gently swimming or floating through the sky. It's the one of crosses, if that means anything to you. And so Хорошего плавания, to me, you know, we've got the images of swimming over here as well. It's sort of this message of just let yourself wander a little bit. You might have been really focused on trying to achieve something, but maybe now we need to sort of tweak that a little bit, or we need to give ourselves permission to take the week off, or just to take that little bit of a step back and then refocus in our energy when we feel ready to do that. I do feel that you can achieve something really wonderful, and that this is something that you're really working towards in March, but I think that you need to pull back from the people and situations that are draining you, or that are just taking and taking and taking from you and not giving you that reward. And it doesn't just have to mean like a physical reward. Like you might be, for example, doing a certain training program at the gym and you're seeing physical results, but you're not getting any sense of fulfillment from it. It's making you feel tired, it's making you feel annoyed or stressed about it all the time, and maybe you would benefit from trying a different program, which means that you get the same result, but maybe it takes longer, but it's more enjoyable for you. And we can apply that to lots of different situations as well. Your love card for March is spend quality time together. Listen and talk to each other. Number 46. So there's really this big message about balance. Like we've received throughout your reading messages of pull away from the people that don't work for you, but also spend time with the ones that really do support you, because that's quality over quantity, and it will make such a difference to your life. We've heard pull back from the situations that you're not getting that benefit from, but then focus in your energy where you really feel that fulfillment and where it will help you get to your goal. We've heard, yes, work hard, but equally don't push yourself so hard that you again feel like you're not fulfilled, feel tired, feel stressed, feel anxious. You might get there slightly later if you do that, but the journey will be so much more comfortable. This is the sort of message that I'm feeling. When you feel your body or your mind or your emotions telling you that you're reaching breaking point, that something's going to happen because it's rumbling underneath the psyche, or you're just constantly running on a headache or something, that's when you need to pull back and give yourself permission to just take a breather. We have got the resurrection, number 6. So this is all about control again. You know, not forcing yourself to do what you don't want to do. It's about rest levels, not rousing yourself from the dead, literally, to get something done. If you need to sleep, sleep. If you need to rest, that's a message from your body telling you that you need to relax. Don't force yourself to write that essay or, you know, do that workout session if you really, really can't do it. There's a difference between just feeling lazy and genuinely feeling tired or burnt out. Because otherwise, you know, you'll end up doing it and then it won't be a very good quality, and then you'll be annoyed with yourself. So it's the sort of vicious cycle of dissatisfaction. We have Sie genau hin, nur so offenbaren sich dir manche Geheimnisse. Sorry, that was a little bit, the writing was a little bit hard to see there. So this says, look closely. Only in this way will certain secrets reveal themselves. So you can see that she's looking, this little earth elemental is looking through a magnifying glass at a little seedling that's shooting up. So it's saying, look closely at the situation. Only when you allow yourself to sort of see clearly and analyze in this way, will you get those insights that you need? Or will you finally understand why something's happening in a certain way? And then your advice card for March Group 1 is push through any insecurity. First quarter moon in Cancer, that's perfect. That is perfect. So that takes us right back to the beginning of your reading with Mary Magdalene, but also with Goddess Lakshmi and the Twilight Shadow message. So I love that. I think you've got some gorgeous cards. Let us look now at your charms and dice to get your extra messages. Group 1 to see what's coming in March. Definitely this sense of balance and boundaries is just what keeps coming through for me. Like, know when to stop, know when you're able to put your energy in, know when people support you and when they are subconsciously sabotaging you. Know when it's the right time for you to act and when it's the right time for you to rest. Like, there's this real discernment that needs to be involved. Could be that you're focusing on 1,000,001 things and you just need to kind of take a rest and just focus on a few things. So we've got some zodiac markers coming through in your charms. Obviously we got Cancer here and we got all of the fire signs with the King of Wands, but we've got Cancer again, and then we've got Sagittarius. So again, it's fire signs and Cancer. I do see Mars here as well. So Mars is funnily enough landing on Uranus, so there's that interplay of masculine deities and masculine planets in astrology. Mars is the god of war, conflict, battle, physical fitness, drive, all of those things. So he does fit in with the fire energy of the reading today. In astrology, Mars kind of shows us not only our physical fitness but also our drive and our passion and it's basically the action planet, and it rules Aries. So there we have the fire coming in again. So it's interesting with the sort of interplay between Mars and Uranus. They're very, very different. They have very different energies. Uranus is this sort of aloof, detached, quirky air sign energy, this sort of visionary energy, whereas Mars is the sort of young, fighting, ready to go for it. I'm not stopping for anything. I'm not thinking about the consequences. I'm just going ahead with it kind of vibe. So we've got, this sort of interplay between when is it the right time for me to just sit and think and stop, and when is it the right time for me to forge ahead? When is it right for me to consider everyone and try and bring about the best outcome for everyone, Uranus? And when is it right for me to be selfish and put myself first, Mars? So there's this real sense of balancing polarities that started to come through in your reading towards the end. I really like it. So we've got the olive branch, reaching out to others. There is strongly a message about not isolating yourself, being very busy. The octopus, juggling lots of things. We've got a guardian angel there, working with you, helping you. I should mention as well that the arrow is not just a symbol of Sagittarius for me, it's also a symbol of focus and determination, which is very fitting for your reading. And then we've got the inner child trauma charm. So that's also interesting and maybe is connected to these people that aren't supportive. Either they're people who have caused you trauma in the past or who are triggering past feelings related to past trauma, and that's something also to look into, and another reason to be gentle with yourself and to give yourself permission to rest. I'm also wondering whether this polarity message is also saying something like it's especially important to understand this if you have, for example, Mars in Aquarius or Uranus in Aries, that like interplay between the two planets. Let's look at your dice now and see what they can tell us. Group 1. So we're going to roll the second set of dice for you. Don't know if you can see that, it says 20. Those are the original dice. Okay. Right in the center, you've got the scales weighing things up, balancing polarities. And we're rolling 2 of them for you. So there again, the 2s, the polarities. Wow. Okay, so we've got the dice. Always funny when we receive that. The dice, I always think of leaving things to chance or taking a risk, like gambling on something. And this kind of fits in with this have a good swim message of circling round and figuring out whether it's right for you to focus on this now or whether you'd be better off drifting and letting your focus be on a different thing. Ultimately, I feel like it's going to lead you to the same outcome, or at least to the right outcome anyway. Like, I see you being able to achieve what you're hoping for. You might just be taking a different route to what you expected, or that final outcome might be slightly different to what you originally envisaged. But that's the process of manifestation. It's continually visualizing, conceptualizing, whittling down, conceptualizing again, etc. And then over here, we've got the pyramid. Pyramid to me speaks of magic and power, strengthening and sharpening energy. Obviously Egypt as well, it can connect us to Egyptian deities. So that is what I'm seeing in your reading, Group 1. It's a very interesting one. Group 1's is not normally as involved as this, I have to say. Normally my Group 3 is like the most kind of spiritual reading, and Group 1, Group 2 are usually a little bit more toned down, or they're not as sort of complex as Group 3's is, but Group 1 is really, really complex. So maybe Group 3's is going to be ridiculous. I really don't know. But yeah, this is obviously a big month for you, and it's a month of learning to trust yourself and understand when you need to do something and when you need to take a step back. And this balance of action and relaxation will bring you to your goal a lot better than if you just charged straight ahead and never gave yourself a break, and you'd quickly burn out from doing that. So I hope that's what you can take away from this reading, Group 1, as well as hopefully some other pieces of advice or encouragement or comfort as well. Thank you so much for watching this video and for being here with me today. Please let me know in the comments how this resonated with you. I would love to hear from you, and please do like, share and subscribe as well if you enjoyed the video. That really helps out my channel and is a lovely way to show gratitude for the work that I do as well. If you're interested in what I do here and you would like to get more involved, check out my description box or the comment that I post below. They are always full of links, so you can follow me on Instagram from there and get daily oracle cards in your feed. You can head over to Patreon. As I mentioned earlier on in the reading, there will be some changes to Patreon soon, including an astrology tier, so it's funny that that came out in your reading. So do keep checking back there if that's something that you would find interesting. You can book a private reading or healing session with me over on Etsy. If you would like to donate to the channel, then that is very kind of you. I have 2 wish lists linked below for new tarot and oracle decks, and I also have a PayPal link for tips and donations that support me in the work that I do and help me to keep making these videos. Thank you so much to everyone who has considered that or who has considered becoming a patron. And we do still have a discount running with Modern Day Manifestations, so if you click on the link below to validate the discount code and then use the code VIOLET at checkout, you will get 10% off your first order of beautiful handmade crystal jewellery. So definitely check that out if that interests you. And thank you again for being here, Group 1. Have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful March. I hope it goes really well for you. And take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hi there, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. If you chose Angel Lahabiel and Black Tourmaline Purification and Fortune's Wheel Luck and Right Timing, numbers 14 and 23 respectively, and then also the Circle of Life Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So we will look at these cards a little bit more closely, but I firstly just want to get your tarot cards out to have that little introduction to your reading. So this is what's going to happen in March. Just generally, we're open to any messages that come in. I said it in the introduction, but I will say it again. I apologize if you hear any sort of disturbance from weather. We had a storm, a really bad storm in the UK yesterday, and it's still where I am really heavily raining, really windy, really overcast. That's why it's so dark at the moment. Yeah, so I apologize if that's at any point disturbing. And group 2, please do subscribe if you haven't already. That will ensure that you're always notified whenever I release a new video, and it is also a really lovely way to help out my channel as well. Okay, what have we got here? So we've got the star. That's a nice opening for your reading. We also have the 10 of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, nice opening to your reading. So we've got Aquarius, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn showing up here. I kind of get the feeling that March for you is a lot about kind of recovering from a very stressful time and starting to put the effort into yourself more rather than other people, and really flourishing as a result of that. So the 10 of Wands in the center of the reading there sort of points towards people pleasing, being really stressed, doing a lot of work, having a lot on your mind, you know, just constantly weighted down by worries. And the 10 of Wands can also indicate that stress is having an impact upon our physical health, like actually causing physical symptoms in some way, whether that's difficulty sleeping, whether it's you know, sickness of some kind, reduced immune system response, whatever it is, irritability of the skin or something, like physical symptoms showing up as a result of stress or worry or anxiety. And then the star is kind of pointing towards healing that and looking a lot more optimistically towards your future. And then the Queen of Pentacles is, instead of placing your focus on all of these other people, placing that focus upon yourself, showing yourself some love, and therefore flourishing. So I think that's a really lovely message to open out your reading. Let me take a look at the introduction to this card in the guidebook. Obviously the Fortune's Wheel card reminds me of the Wheel of Fortune. Things changing for the better, your circumstances just generally improving, things getting a lot easier for you, less resistance, less of a struggle. This card says we bring you the gift of purification. This is your chance to let go of what you no longer wish to hold. It might be a toxic burden within your body, mind, or emotions you wish to be freed from so you can feel lighter, happier, and more energized to attend to the things that matter most. We come to you at a time when you have become overloaded with energies, thoughts, or even perhaps physical toxins or possessions inhibiting your capacity for joy and vibrancy. Wow. If there is any fear within at the prospect of releasing something from your life, be reassured. This cleansing is a loving grace that will help you feel happier. We are not here to take anything from you, but rather to free you from what you no longer wish to hold on to. The more you are willing to allow us to assist in this process, the better and clearer you shall feel. Insights into your relationships, choices in life, and issues that may have confused you will become very clear. You will become more aware of your truths and feel empowered to live your life on your own terms. There is only benefit to gain here, and our blessing comes straight from the loving heart of the divine to assist you. So that is a beautiful message that fits really well with the tarot cards that you've received, especially that 10 of Wands message, and then the purification that the star brings with it. It's also a message I've been receiving for the collective recently a lot, like in private readings and on YouTube, this sense that right now a lot of people are shifting into a space of change. There's been a lot of frustration recently of like, nothing's happening, nothing's moving forward for me, and now we're getting to the point where change is starting to come in, or we can see it on the horizon, and a lot of people are getting frightened by that and really fearful of getting out of their comfort zone, really fearful of leaving behind what no longer serves. And so we've been focusing on that a little bit recently in Patreon. I did a group healing session on Patreon to help with releasing the old and opening up to change, and that was a really beautiful experience. So it's obviously something that's affecting others and not just you, group 2. So please try and take comfort from the fact that it's not just you going through this. There are other people experiencing this as well. Wow. Dreaming. Okay, dreaming of a better life. I guess the star fits with that as a sort of nighttime card, dreaming, wishing upon a star. Whoa. Okay, I am going to take the cards that jumped out there, and then they also like knocked half the deck out of my hands as they erupted from the deck. So I'm not going to take the ones that they knocked out, but I'm going to take the ones that jumped out. Let me just pick up the ones that have fallen on the floor. So that was really quite powerful. So we have unexplained wonder. Number 44, magical blessings and miracles are occurring in your life. All your prayers are answered now. That fits perfectly with the stars vibe. Convey your message. Number 41, convey your meaning. Reflect on the way you communicate with others and with yourself. Be sure to express your thoughts and feelings from your heart and with respect and sincerity. And then total submersion. Number 32, don't be afraid to totally immerse yourself in a project, interest or goal. Give it 100% of your energy and you may find what your life has been lacking. Okay, so this definitely fits with this message of don't be afraid to, experience change. Don't be afraid to let go of certain things to help you along that journey. The dreaming, I'm very drawn to the fact that she's arising out of this blossoming flower. And so too are you opening up, but of course it's frightening when that happens. I'm really just feeling I'm in my comfort zone, and it might not be a perfect space, but it's what I know. And, what lies before me is unknown. And so even if it's better, I still feel that sense of fear or trepidation and a loss of control as well. All of that can be confronting and frightening. Sea beacon fairy, guidance, but where will it lead you? Number 3, wow. Just this fear of where am I going? I know that this is my right path, but I'm scared of what I'll experience along the way, what that entails ultimately. Wow. It's always tea time. Number 26, eternity, endless moments, repetition. That was what I was feeling with I've gotten frustrated with the life that I'm living now, or everything feels very samey, but at the same time it is my comfort zone and I don't really want to release myself from that because it can be scary to do so. But I really see that March is going to bring in a lot of opportunity for growth, for blossoming. Like I just heard conviviality, so a really convivial environment in which you can thrive. Verlorene Kindheit, number 45, lost childhood. Wow. Sort of inner child trauma there, always having to be responsible, not really having experienced the sort of carefree childhood that many others have. Leuchtender Stern, shining star, number 84, being this guiding light. This often reminds me of the Three of Cups, actually, this card of the three sort of angels or light beings being visible there. I also think that perhaps for some of you the sort of lost childhood is symbolic of how you are kind of in this safe space now, like childhood, like a space where you're not pushed outside of your comfort zone, and then you feel like you're losing that safety by opening up to change. Oh, I love this card. Reichtum. Über dir, dich herum, in dir. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous image there with the lotus flower and this earth elemental in the water, which you don't often see them in the water, with all of these multiple arms just letting the water flow, and symbolic sort of blossoming there with the crown as well as the lotus flower. So that says wealth or richness above you, around you, within you. So abundance everywhere, basically abundance in all directions for you. Your love message in March is ask for help. What do you really need? Be willing to accept support. Number 14. And you chose number 14 with your pile marker, so that's obviously an important number. Maybe the 14th of March is going to be important somehow, or just the number 14 is important. But yeah, ask for help definitely fits with the 10 of Wands, where you are just doing so much for others, or you're overloading yourself and, you know, forgetting what you really need to be focusing on. Yep, number 18, the City. This card kind of shows us, again, the stable foundations that we've built, the sort of comfort zone. It's a walled city. It protects us. It keeps us safe. We don't want to venture outside because then we are, you know, symbolically unsafe. There could be enemies outside. There could be danger. But if you just stay within that city, you can see it's a very crowded stone city, and stone is symbolic of, you know, continuing as things are, not growing. Stone doesn't grow. It's very constrictive. You need more than this, group 2. You know that you need more, that you want to grow like the trees outside the city. There's a star, actually. I hadn't noticed that. There's a shooting star in the sky. Overcoming obstacles. You can overcome anything. Yes, gorgeous card. Let's get you a message from the masculine and feminine. I did this for group 1 because they had the divine feminine on their pile marker, so I'm going to do it for all the piles. So your message from the feminine in March is Dana, High Priestess. You have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teaching. So basically being a role model, or being a teacher or guide or mentor in some way. You'll have the opportunity to guide another in March, but also I feel like that card is saying you're like this beacon, the sea beacon fairy, like you are like a light in the darkness. You have a lot of inspiration, intuitive knowledge that's guiding you. I think there's definitely a need to take more notice of this knowledge that's coming in and trusting it more, because sometimes we just brush it off and we say, oh, I just thought of that myself. That wasn't a channeled message, or, you know, I've seen that sign or symbol or number a lot, but I'm not, you know, it's just a coincidence, etc. I'm making it up. I'm reading too deeply into things. I personally don't believe in coincidences. I feel like everything happens for a reason. And I think that's more the mindset that you're being encouraged to get into, is I trust my guidance. I trust my abilities. I trust the universe to not lead me into danger or lead me into anything that I can't handle. And then your message from the masculine, you've actually got 2. You've got Osiris, Resurrection, number 36, and Ganesh, Wisdom, number 15. And again, very interesting, because I literally mentioned the Osiris healing session that I did over on Patreon, so maybe you were part of that. Maybe you are a patron watching this. That was literally something that I did just yesterday for my patrons. So yeah, that's obviously a theme for the collective, whether you're part of that or not. Letting go, releasing, cutting cords, opening up to change. Resurrection offers this rebirth. Your inner masculine is saying that your power lies in accepting this rebirth and sort of allowing anything that no longer serves you to be buried, to be left behind, to be given the respect that it deserves or that should be afforded to it, but nevertheless to be removed from your life and allowed the opportunity to either dissipate completely or to be put to use elsewhere. But you are going to go through a rebirth, a resurrection, a new start in your life, pretty much, a resurgence in your energy and a new path for you to walk on. Or maybe you've spent some time just not actively pursuing your path, just taking a rest by the side of the path, and now it's time to start walking again. Ganesh wisdom is also strongly connected to Dana, like those two are very much on the same wavelength. Following that wisdom you're receiving, following your inner wisdom, knowing that it's all going to be okay, that you have the knowledge and skills that you need, and the support that you need from Spirit to help you. Stielenhuis Vorstucha, made from air. The 6 of arrows, so air, elemental energy. We got Aquarius obviously earlier on in the reading, but also Gemini and Libra showing up with that card as well. Made from air always makes me think of something that feels very up in the air, very ungrounded, unconcrete. And I think that's partly your fear. Group 2 is that you're worried about, yes, okay, you might be able to envisage that you could be happier in a different set of circumstances in the future, but you're worried that you don't have all the answers right now. There's that uncertainty. There's that feeling of, I know change is coming in, or I know change is necessary, but what form is it going to take? How long is that transition period going to be? How difficult will it be? What challenges will I face along the way? In what ways will I change? That can be really scary sometimes to think of ourselves changing. But ultimately it's just so that we can become more of ourselves. So your advice card for March is full moon in Sagittarius, see the bigger picture. And I think that's perfect, like this message of try not to worry too much about the immediate future. If change comes in, it'll come in, and in the long run that will massively help you. Try to recognize how the situation that you're in currently is not something you would want to remain in for the long term, and therefore try and get into this mindset of change is not frightening, change is exciting. At least when you catch yourself worrying or panicking about change, or big decisions that you need to make, just kind of hold up your hand to yourself and say, and yet I can see that there is something to get excited about. Yes, it's frightening, yes, it's confronting, yes, it's, big, but I can see that there's something there that I can get excited about. Just those little changes in your mindset can really help you. Group 2, I just realized that for another group I got an Archangel Gabriel card and an Archangel Michael card, so I will get you one of those as well, and then we'll do your charms. I thought there was a card missing. So Archangel Gabriel, says, have confidence in your creations, trust in the power of God's creativity, which is being manifested through you. So that's Ganesha and Dana again, isn't it? Trusting the guidance, trusting your capabilities, and that they have been entrusted to you for a reason. And then Archangel Michael says, pay attention to your dreams. Thank you for tucking me into bed tonight and helping me enjoy a wonderfully restful night's sleep, Archangel Michael. I invite you into my dreams as my teacher, guide, and healer, High Priestess, and we got the dreaming card as well. Please allow me to understand this situation on a spiritual level and give me guidance. Amazing. Amazing. So definitely pay attention to your dreams and the messages coming through that. Do not dismiss them or pretend that it's just something that you've made up, or that it's, just coming from your mind. It is a message that is being given to you from a higher power, and especially if it's a message that comes through multiple times, really, really pay attention to it. So let's get your charms on top now, group 2, and then we will do your dice. Okay, so we have two crystal balls showing up here. We've got the Love and Relationships ball, which is the Rose Quartz ball, and we've also got the Snowflake Obsidian ball, which is a message of overcoming obstacles. Okay, we've got the Frog, who is getting ready to make a leap. So literally that feeling of being ready to make a decision or take action or experience a big change. We've got this 13.1 half marathon charm. The arrow is pointing this way, telling you to keep going. So 13.1, it's half a marathon, and basically it's saying you're halfway there, keep going. You're halfway to your goal, or you've done half of the work already, just keep going. You can do this. You've got a sword, which looks very similar to the sword that is in the stone there. So the sword, I always think of the Ace of Swords, new beginnings, new ideas, new inspiration or communication. And you do have the helmet, so kind of like the helmet and the sword getting ready to fight. The helmet always makes me think of going through a tough time, but having everything that you need to get yourself through that. You are not ill-prepared. You have the resources or the strength or the support you need to push right through. And then here we've got the worry thread wrapped around the lion. So the worry thread just represents worry or anxiety. The lion obviously is symbolic of Leo's energy, but it also represents pride. Okay, so there could be any worries connected either to yourself if you have a strong Leo placement, or worry about a Leo person, or worry connected to pride and potentially having that be injured. Okay, so let's look now at your dice, see which set we're going to roll. Okay, so we're rolling the first set of dice, the fantasy dice, these ones, okay, that's a 1, so I'm going to roll again. I always roll again if I get a 1 or a 0. Okay, we're rolling 3 dice for you today from this box. Okay, so we have got the sort of ogre figure here with a big club to beat someone with. I always think of this as either being someone standing in your way or some kind of symbolic obstacle, which obviously, given that card, you're able to overcome. Or I think of it as being like a mindset where you're beating yourself up or you're being unnecessarily harsh to yourself. So think of that. Really ask yourself if sometimes you might be your own worst enemy in terms of mindset and motivation. Then over here we've got the crown, the tiara, and it's landing on Dana, who is also wearing a crown. And the crown represents sovereignty, autonomy, independence, self-respect, knowing your worth, making decisions that are right for you and not being bullied or coerced into making choices that suit someone else better. And then your final dice is the Trojan horse. So ulterior motives, keeping your plans hidden, being careful about whether you talk about something or not. And very interestingly, it's landing on this convey your meaning card. So I think it might be quite important if you are trying to manifest, for example, to state very clearly what it is that you're looking for and not try and veil it behind something else. Be very clear and open with spirit about what it is that you want and why. This could also indicate suspicion about another person or someone kind of wondering why you're being quiet on them or not giving anything away. There's just a message there about guarding or shielding something because it's not for everyone to hear, if that makes sense. So that is what I'm seeing in your reading today, Group 2. Definitely a very interesting reading, lots of encouragement, and you should definitely be putting a lot more confidence and faith in yourself than you already do. It's really a time for change, but change in the sense of a rebirth, and I really don't think you should be afraid of it, although I completely understand why you might feel that way. So I hope you enjoyed this Group 2. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of the reading, whether it resonated with you. I would love to hear from you. Please like, share and subscribe as well if you enjoyed this video. It is a lovely way to give back for the work that I do, and it means that we can get these messages to as many people as possible. And if you're interested in what I do and you would like to get more involved, check out my description box and the comments that I post in the comment below. They are always full of links. So through that comment or through the description box, you can follow me on Instagram for daily oracle cards. You can head over to Etsy and book a private reading or healing session with me. You can go over to Patreon, and as I said earlier, there will be changes to Patreon coming in kind of around the start of March, so keep checking back if you're interested in the new astrology tier, if you're interested in learning astrology, or if you are just interested in becoming a patron. There will be changes soon, so definitely check it out for the new rewards and features that I'll be bringing in. If you would like to donate to the channel, that is very kind of you. Thank you for your kindness. I have 2 wish lists linked below for new tarot and oracle decks, and I also have a PayPal link for tips and donations which support me in the work that I do. So thank you to everyone who has considered doing that, and to everyone who has considered becoming a patron. Thank you as well. And we do still have a discount running with Modern Day Manifestations. So if you'd like to get 10% off your first order of beautiful handmade crystal jewelry, then head over to the website. The link is in the description below. If you use that link, it will validate the discount code, and then you just apply the discount code Violet at checkout to get your 10% off. So I really hope you've enjoyed the reading. As I said earlier, thank you for being here. Have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful March. Group 2, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hi there, Group 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose Ascended Master Merlin and Mystic Merlinite, read the energy. And Winter's Dream Gestation Period, numbers 34 and 63, respectively. And this is going to be your reading. We will look more at these cards in a moment, but firstly, I want to get your tarot cards out so that we have the opening to your reading. Now, for the other piles, I was mentioning at the start of each reading that I was sorry if they got disrupted by the weather. There was really strong wind, really heavy rain, and now we've got a little bit of sunshine, so it's just sort of typical UK weather, where you just experience the 4 seasons in the space of an hour. So let's get your cards out. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, Group 3. It's a great way to stay up to date with my videos and make sure that you never miss out on a reading, and it also is a way to help out my channel as well. Okay, so quite a few different cards jumping out first of all. So we've got the Ace of Raphael, the Ace of Cups, a positive new emotional experience, fulfilling romantic relationships, deep and lasting spiritual insights. Then we have the 5 of Ariel, 5 of Pentacles. You needn't go through your current challenges alone. Help is nearby. Negative thoughts create self-fulfilling prophecies. And then another 5, Divine Guidance, Archangel Sandalphon. This is the Hierophant card. The search for meaning in life. Consider an alternative approach. Surround yourself with wise teachers or friends. So Taurus energy is coming through from these cards so far. So definitely an interesting vibe to March. It's quite spiritual. We've got this message of overcoming worry through your connection to spirit and through the support that you receive from others around you. It's kind of like, yeah, sort of jolting yourself out of this feeling of despair or struggle. So you might have been experiencing health problems, money worries, feeling like you're never going to complete a project or achieve something that you're really hoping for, and it feels like in March that changes. Your mindset changes. You're able to pull yourself out of it and feel a lot more positive. So if we just read the introduction to this card in the guidebook, see what it has to say. We bring you the blessing of reading the energy. We affirm that you have the ability to read energy accurately, and we encourage you to apply your gifts. You don't have to be in control of the inflow of divine information. When a message or insight comes to you naturally, this is best. Simply being open and receptive as you intend to read the energy of the person, place, or situation at hand is enough. Whether you have been reading energetically for years or are just beginning your journey in interpreting energetic information, we are here to assist you in becoming confident and trusting in your perceptive abilities. So this card is basically saying that you have the ability to understand the truth of a situation through reading the energy, through sort of your intuitive vibe from that person or situation or relationship. And you should follow that. So this could be, for example, that you start to despair or worry, and then your intuition and guidance kind of places you back on course, and you go, no, actually, no, that was my fear talking. In reality, I am going to be able to achieve this. I just need to do X, Y, Z. And then the gestation period card shows that you're in this period of growth, this kind of controlled space. Like winter is a controlled space. Obviously, this is a wintry card in the sense that it lasts for a certain amount of time. Gestation is a controlled space in that it also lasts for a certain amount of time, and that it's within the womb. So it's like space is being held for you to grow and to reflect during this time. And I think that stretches a bit further than March. I don't think it's something that is just particular to March for you. It's something that's been going on for longer than that. But definitely that's a strong message for you, is this holding of space for you to grow. Patience and Earth Mother. What perfect cards to just summarize that vibe. That's incredible. Wow. Group 3. I mean, some of you might actually genuinely be pregnant or trying to conceive a child. But if not, then I feel, and even if you are maybe, then it's just this message of the universe sort of holding space for you and protecting you like a mother does her young. Have patience in the process, and have patience with yourself. Yes, 21, enjoy the journey. Yes, the patience, stay present and flexible. Many changes are going on for you and around you. These changes are not only good, but necessary. Bring your awareness into the now rather than focusing on the past or the future. So instead of worrying so much about something that's not going to happen until 5 months down the line, focus on what's going on now for you and how you can respond to these changes and situations right now. Then we have number 33. Let your personality shine, so a double number there. You have something no one else has that makes you who you are. Stop comparing yourself to others and allow your uniqueness to shine through. So those are two really gorgeous, extremely colourful cards. I really like that you've gotten both of those. You do have quite a lot of purple throughout your reading. That's sort of filtering in. Sea Beacon Fairy, guidance, but where will it lead you? Number 3. Group 2 got that card as well. And it definitely carries that energy with it of, you know, what's happening? I know that changes are happening, but where is it going to take me? Where am I going to end up? And it's just allowing that anxiety to settle so that you can receive those changes, not fight against them. As I was explaining to group 2, it's definitely a message for the collective right now that a lot of people are having to learn to come out of their comfort zone. There's been obviously a period of frustration for a lot of people where they felt like their life wasn't moving forward, and now a message I keep receiving on YouTube and in private readings is of people who are starting to experience change or can notice that change is on the horizon, and now are starting to panic about what that means. Like, I've become comfortable in this situation, even if it's not perfect. I'm frightened of change and what that means for me and what that means for my life, etc., and my routine. So this was something we did on Patreon recently. Just yesterday I did a healing session for my lovely patrons who signed up for the session, and we focused on releasing cords, releasing anything that we didn't need to hold on to anymore, and opening up to change. That was the focus of the session with Lord Osiris. So interestingly, we've got this card now saying follow your own good advice. Number 10, trust yourself, you know what is best for you. So guidance, trust yourself, you know, this fear of where's it going to lead me, what's going to happen if I follow that guidance or if I continue down the path of change. It's saying just trust it. Don't try to second guess it all the time or wonder too much about what it is. Focus on the present. and trust yourself, because you've got a good head on your shoulders and you know where you need to be going. Your love message for March is take a chance on love. When we love, our lives are changed forever. Number 23. Few cards coming in from this deck. We've got number 35, the woman who is being saved after plummeting from the tower. We've got number 19, the harbinger, and number 36, the dragon. Okay, so it's interesting. This is obviously a card of rescue, but it's also reminding you that there are some things that you might hold on to, some things that you might try and rescue or change, like grab out of the fire when things are changing around you, that actually they don't serve you anymore. So in the previous card in that deck, in number 34, we see a woman who is sort of plummeting from the tower. She's fallen or jumped from the window. And it's kind of representing something being released from our life, something that we don't really need anymore. And sometimes it can feel obviously like we're falling, like we're losing our grip or losing our control on our life. And sometimes it's about simply release and understanding that we don't need to hold on to everything all of the time. So with this card, we can take it in a variety of different ways. We can either say, okay, we're saving something and that's great, or we ourselves have been rescued, or we can look at it and being like, you've burnt your hand grabbing that thing out of the fire when actually it would have been better left just to burn. You should have not damaged yourself by holding on to something for longer than it needed to be held on to, if that makes sense. The harbinger is this card of something escaping a fire again. We kind of get the impression that this little dragon thing was sent to start the fire in the first place. So it's kind of escaping from a fire, or it's, noticing what's happened. It kind of represents safety from destruction. So while all this change is going on around you, which may feel like a tower moment, we've got two sort of representations of that here, being able to understand that you will escape from it unscathed, and you might come out in a different form. You might have changed in some way, but that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. And then with the dragon, or kind of serpent card, we get this message of aggression. As you can see, it's a very ferocious, fearsome creature, and it talks about aggression and anger and that strong, heavy energy. So I think it's saying try not to fall into anger as a result of the changes that you experience, or try not to lash out in any way. Like lash is a word that I see quite strongly with that card. I think it's also talking about change being sudden and maybe feeling quite aggressive, the change itself. Archangel Gabriel says daily practice. The more you practice your new skills, the more comfortable and confident you become. And I think that fits in with sort of staying grounded. So practicing mindfulness every single day will lead to you feeling a lot more grounded every single day. You won't feel as, swept away by change as you otherwise would. That was a big thing that came through in the Patreon healing session, was that we need to remember that change doesn't necessarily have to uproot us, going back to that earth symbolism. It's just that we often feel, as a result of change, that we have lost our connection to the earth, and we need to consciously reground ourselves when we're going through those turbulent times. Eternal love is what Archangel Michael says. Help me perceive all of the love that surrounds me so that I can feel safe receiving, expressing, and giving love. So there's that take a chance message coming in again. There is love around you, or there is the opportunity for love, whether you're in a relationship or not. There is either someone who would like to be in a relationship with you, or there is the possibility for you to get out there and express love, but there is a fear there. Maybe because you think there's too much going on in your life, or maybe you just think that you don't have maybe the mental space for it right now. But definitely there is that option there. Пересеченная местность, rugged terrain. That definitely fits with this reading. It's number 15 of circles and diamonds, which does also kind of look like 150. So if either of those mean anything to you, take that message. Пересеченная местность, rugged terrain, sort of difficult territory, but territory that nevertheless you will navigate. There are paths up there, and there are people living there. There's little houses, even on top of this sort of hill frog creature. So it is possible, it's just different. Okay, I've just picked up a card that fell on the floor for you. So we have Gönne dir Zeit zum Wundern und zum Staunen from the Earth Elementals. Allow yourself time to wonder and to sort of be amazed. And der Himmel ist in dir, nur dein Glaube an die Wolken behindert dir deine Sicht. So the heaven, the sky or the heaven is within you, depending on how you want to translate it. Only your belief in the clouds hinders your sight or prevents you from seeing this. That's a really lovely message. There's definitely a lot here about your mindset and how you choose to react to changes or obstacles, and how that can have a massive effect on the overall outcome. Finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. Very spiritual card. There's that tower imagery again. The mountains coming through again that have been present in other cards. Rugged terrain. Mountains also representing an ascent, a quest, the spaces that are sort of closest to spirit in some ways. Your message from the feminine is Kuan Yin, compassion. Release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. So Kuan Yin is basically reminding you again to stay calm, to remain peaceful, to do your best not to lash out. And even in the midst of the most turbulent or aggressive change, you can remain calm. And of course, you won't be able to control everything, but you can work on and focus on the things that you do have control over. This is such a message for the collective right now. And your message from the masculine is Kronos, reaping, number 28. He is Saturn in the Roman pantheon. What's really, really interesting, actually, group 3, is that group 2, I think it was, or maybe it was group 1, got Uranus, Kronos' father, also known as Kailas in the Roman pantheon. So that's really interesting, because I don't think either of them have ever come out in a reading before for anyone that I've done so far. So Kronos reaping is basically saying you reap what you sow. Kronos, or Saturn, he is the god of boundaries and limitations. He's also the god of time, as you can see from the hourglass that he's holding there. And Kronos was part of a generational cycle of men being usurped by their sons. So Kronos, or Saturn, castrated his father Uranus, or Kailas, to overthrow him and take over his place as the ruler of the gods. And then Kronos' son, or Saturn's son, Zeus / Jupiter, depending on which pantheon you follow, did the same to him. So it was basically this cycle of generational conflict that was brought about by Saturn, or Kronos. So it's kind of reminding yourself of, again, you reap what you sow. There's definitely an inherent message of boundaries and timing that comes in with this card, and you should always consider your Saturn sign when you get this card. So what is Saturn telling me? What is it transiting anything in March for me? What's my sign and house for Saturn, what are the aspects to Saturn in my chart, etc. How is that affecting me? But also just remembering that the actions that you take or the way that you choose to react to things will massively alter the sort of outcome that you receive. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this in March. So really, whatever you do, think carefully about how you're going to respond. And your advice card for March is release your blocks. First quarter moon in Scorpio. It's perfect. It's perfect. Fits the reading so well and the collective energy so well as well. Wow. Let's do your charms now, group 3, and then we will get your dice on top as well. Love that you've got these messages. Lots of charms. Okay. The Kronos card, I should have said, is also a indicator that karma is heightened for you in March. So again, it's important to really consider your choices and the things that you say and the things that you think as well. The way that you're thinking and speaking about yourself and others and your plans and your life can really have much further reaching effects than they would normally. So we'll look at your charms. What have we got? We've got the letter O. Okay, I don't really know. I'm not getting anything specifically coming to me from that, but that would be someone's name. It could be a word, it could be a place. Doesn't necessarily have to begin with O. O might just be a, you know, really important sound in it, like Kronos, for example. Just take what comes to you from that. We have got the gauntlet, feeling challenged or choosing to challenge someone else. We have the toxic person or situation charm, and interestingly that's landing on this rescue card. So this message of maybe you're holding on to something that you should just allow to dissipate from your life. We've got attachment as well on that card. Having faith, trusting. We've got the pineal gland showing up here. Sort of third eye message, so discernment is really important. We've also got the seahorse. Now this is interesting because of the message about eternal love and take a chance on love. It feels like someone really wants to offer you some love and support in March, but you're kind of like, don't have time for it. Even if you're in a relationship, it's like your partner's there for you and you're kind of not available for that because you've just got so much other stuff on your mind. But it feels as though there's definitely someone who is there. When I get the seahorse, I think of a 50-50 partner, someone who is more than happy to do their fair share of the work in a relationship and carry their fair share of the mental load, someone who doesn't take more than they give and vice versa. So just be aware of that as you go into March and be open to that. I think it's possible that you could easily hurt someone's feelings if you're not at least acknowledging what they do for you or the support that they give you. So just be careful of that so that you can avoid upsetting someone. We have got 2 hearts down here, so a similar kind of message. Love is definitely around you. And we have got the angel wings. So angels are also there to support you, as you can see in this card. We've got the rocking horse, which symbolizes situations from childhood. It can also talk about trying your best to get somewhere and just feeling like you're not making any movement, which leads to frustration. We have the baby tapir, children being a consideration. Can also refer to people who struggle to speak up. They feel low in confidence or they're not sure how their opinion would be taken by someone else. We've got the ship's wheel, which is like the wheel of fortune to me. Circumstances changing in your favor, the tide turning, that's what we like to hear. This, you're not going to need to have patience for very much longer, is what I'm feeling. And these worries or these problems will dissipate for you. You just need to allow it and do your best not to stand in your own way while this happens. We have the flower, beauty and blossoming, which is actually landing on the binoculars, symbolic of insight, having insight, understanding, analysis in a situation. So let's get your dice now as well and see what they can tell us. So we're rolling the first set of dice. Those are the fantasy dice. Let me just get those. These ones. There's Mount Olympus right there. And we are rolling 7 dice for you. Okay, so we've got freedom and liberation. Freedom from constraints, freedom from restriction. We have the monk, which I identify very strongly with the Hierophant, which you got as one of your tarot cards, this sense of a connection to spirit. I also connect it strongly to this card. Really having that strong, firm connection, like that tall, firm tower, to spirit, and relying on that and that faith to get you through the tough times. The frog being adaptable to different situations. And you clearly are very adaptable. Group 3, you're someone who can adapt quite easily to change. There's just that fear there, understandably, of change happening. We have got an air elemental here. So air elementals, fairy energy is around you. We've got the cottage, home being your sanctuary. That word sanctuary again, kind of wanting to, in a sense, shut yourself away. That gestation period message of you being given this space. It feels like spirit is really holding space for you, that you are protected during this time. You might feel like lots is happening and it's changing and it's scary, but you are actually held quite safely and securely by spirit during this time, in this womb, in this gestation period. We have Hermes or Mercury, another Greco-Roman god showing up for you here. He is the god of travel, arguably of change, of crossing boundaries, of crossroads, merchants, messengers, language, all those kinds of things. So he is showing up as a patron deity alongside Kuan Yin and Kronos Saturn. And then you've also got the little sort of troll dice, and this dice always says to me someone that you think is maybe not your friend, or someone who you expect at first glance to not be very nice, actually turning out to be a good friend for you, or turning out to be very helpful to you. So that's landing on release your blocks. So there's possibly like a better relationship with someone that you can form in March, and maybe that's referring back to the seahorse person in like a romantic sense, or maybe it's just about friendship, or at least agreeing with someone to sort of agree to disagree, but with no malice involved there. There's definitely this message of, oh, I judged that person too harshly to begin with, or oh, I expected them not to like me or to be unkind, but actually they're quite nice. So that's a nice message to end on, Group 3. I hope you've enjoyed your reading. It's definitely an interesting month. I think just reminding yourself, I'm held, or spirit is holding space for me, or this is a gestation period, something like that, will give you more confidence as you make your decisions, and will give you more confidence to trust yourself more. It will also remind you that you are safe during these changes. Nothing bad is going to happen that causes you to, feel upset or feel like you've made the wrong choice. You can do this. Keep that connection to spirit very strong. Daily, obviously, if you can, but if not, try and do it at least regularly, so that you have that firm connection and are able to regularly touch base. So please do let me know what you thought of this reading, Group 3. I would love to hear from you. Please leave me a comment to tell me what you thought of this reading. Please do like, share and subscribe as well if you enjoyed the video. That is really helpful to me and my channel, and it means that we can get as many people to see these messages as possible. And if you're interested in the work that I do and you would like to get more involved, check out my description box and the comment that I post below in the comments section. They are always full of links. So from there you can follow me on Instagram for daily oracle cards. You can head over to my Etsy page and book a private reading or healing session with me. You can head over to Patreon. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to be seeing some changes on Patreon soon because I am shaping up the tiers in line for March. There will be an astrology tier. If that's something that interests you, keep checking back. There's also going to be new features and updated pricing to reflect the work and effort that I put into that page. If you would like to leave a gift for the channel, that is very, very kind of you. I have 2 wish lists linked below for new tarot and oracle decks. I also have a PayPal link for tips and donations which support me in the work that I do and help me to keep making these videos. Thank you so much to anyone who has considered donating to the channel or becoming a patron. I really, really do appreciate it. And we do still have a discount running with Modern Day Manifestations, so if you would like to get 10% off your first order of beautiful handmade crystal jewellery, use the link below to validate the discount code, and then apply the discount code VIOLET at checkout to get that 10% off. Thank you so much again for being here. Group 3, have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful March. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.